Since he was a child, my youngest son has always had an interest in Japan. Halfway across the world lies a culture filled with vibrance and respect that is like nothing he's never seen before. He consumes lots of Japan media and entertainment. I made sure that while it is fun to engage in Japanese media, it is important to understand how to navigate everyday communications and interactions with those who he hopes to visit one day. Culture defines communications of one with each other. It is important to note that no matter where you travel, there is a means of communication. Whether it be language or nonverbal communication will greatly vary. Luckily, the means of Japan nonverbal communication has been documented in websites like Live Japan, Rootler, Tufugu, and the Usenet News Group, and the book 70 Language Gestures, No Language Communication. The online journal article Japanese Kinesics, the Journal of Association of Teachers of Japan, helps me to identify and understand Japanese nonverbal customs. In this presentation, I will illustrate how factors of Japanese culture includes kinesics, paralanguage, and other cultures considering non-shape verbal interactions with Japan. To begin, I'd like to discuss how kinesics influence the Japanese communication of one another. Travel websites Live Japan's labels a straight posture of 45-degree bow when you're in those with Japan. Failing to bow means someone is deemed disrespectful no matter what relationship you are with them. In the book 70 Language Gestures, No Language Communication, it is understood that Japanese people point to their nose when they're talking about themselves or to indicate that they're talking about others. This gesture seems rude to American travelers because they often point to their chest. However, Japan, it is a commonplace. Journal articles from online database Gestures Japanese Kinesics found that eye contact in Japan is formal setting and more often quickly broken or avoided altogether. Instead of eye contact in formal situations, Japanese make contact with a person by speaking and lowering their faces out of respect. And more casual eye contact is acceptable and used in personal settings. Next, I will explore how Japanese culture affects paralanguage. Japanese is a fast-speaking country. According to tofu.com, Japan has a more quicker syllabic rate compared to English. This fast rate is because Japanese speakers usually are more indirect in their speech out of respect to compensate their fast speaking. In the study from the article Sociocultural Aspects of Speech, Difference Between Higher Japanese and Dutch Women, it is found that Japanese women tend to speak in a higher pitched voice and portray a sense of powerless, while casual conversations, Japanese people are quiet and polite. It is common in their culture to get loud and rowdy when drinking, according to livejapan.com. Lastly, I would examine the other cultures' considerations found in Japanese nonverbal communications. The Usenet News Group emphasized how honorific terms such as Mr. and Mrs. are boiled down to just saying the term san, which is a place of in of person's name. It is seen as bad manners to just say someone's name without the proper honorific title, unless talking with family members or close friends about the persons which you wish to address. This site also outlines in the schools where seniors address underclassmen as kohai, and the upperclassmen are senpai as a sign of respect. This is common in clubs and sports groups and other extracurricular activities in Japanese schools. According to this also applies to business settings and interacting with co-workers or higher positions. Highlighted in Reuters in their article Family Comes First, Japan to switch orders of name in victory of traditions. Japan has a family-oriented culture, thus Japanese refer to acquaintances by their family or their last names. In close friendships, some will call each other by their first name, but this is an exclusive to those who have built a significant bond. In conclusion, with insight from the kinesics, paralanguage, and other cultures presented in Japanese culture, I hope you have gained a better understanding of how to navigate nonverbal communication in Japan with the culture and how it has shaped them. No matter how far you go, cultures will vary from one city and country to the next. It is important to when traveling to another place to understand the locals and how important their culture is to them. This way you're better informed and you enjoy your time away from your life that you're comfortable with. Thank you.
Yay!
I'm so scared.
Oh, you did excellent, and it was very informative.
Thank you.
Right.
I didn't know nothing about no Japanese folk.